dark reality of going to US to make more money. Welcome back to everyone. Moving to the US to increase one's income is a topic that many people dream about but few actually comprehend. Today, we'll be delving into this subject. Have you ever entertained the idea of emigrating to pursue the American dream? Is it true that there's always greener grass on the other side? Now we're going to lift the veil and expose the grim reality that lies beneath this widespread goal. Let's pose this query first. Have you ever wondered what it would actually be like to uproot everything in order to pursue a higher salary? Is everything all glitz and glamour, or are there hidden challenges that people rarely talk about? A lot of individuals think that coming to the United States will ensure their financial success, but the reality can be significantly more nuanced. Don't forget to like this video and give us thumbs up so we can keep uploading videos with consistency. The allure of greater incomes and better living conditions in the United States keeps drawing people from the Middle East in their quest for the American dream. The reality of moving to the US for economic reasons, however, frequently stands in stark contrast to these assumptions and presents a picture full of both unanticipated chances and difficulties. This video's American viewers of this video who are Americans need to be aware of these circumstances. Now, let's dig deeper into this to provide more specifics. Economic prospects compared to living expenses. Searching for better pay in the US often feels like a golden opportunity until you realize you have to spend a significant amount of money to continue your search. The American economy holds great promise for financial success for a large number of Middle Eastern expats, especially in high-demand fields like technology, engineering, and healthcare. Compared to their native countries, these fields may pay wages that appear like king's ransoms. A software engineer in the Middle East, for example, might make about $30,000 a year, while in Silicon Valley, the same job could bring in as much as $120,000. The enormous expense of living in America's major centers is the catch to this financial boom, though. A basic one-bedroom apartment in a city like San Francisco or New York can knock up to $3,000 in rent per month, which takes a big bite out of that seemingly great wage. As a result, the economic boom turns into a balancing act involving cultural and societal adjustment, making financial management as difficult as tightrope walking over a fiscal canyon. For Middle Eastern expats living in the US, acclimating to American culture and society requires navigating the complicated and frequently confusing new world. They are leaving behind a well-known cultural setting with its own standards and beliefs. Entering the varied and dynamic American social scene could be like stepping into a kaleidoscope of customs and behaviors. Potential miscommunications may arise because social interactions and communication styles in the US differ from those in the Middle East for many people. Furthermore, there are shifts in holidays, eating customs, and even everyday schedules that might be confusing. Ramadan celebrations, for instance, may conflict with regular work hours in the United States, making fasting and group prayers more difficult. The difficulty is not just in adjusting, but also in maintaining one's cultural identity in the context of diverse American society. In addition to individual resiliency, this balancing act calls for a friendly workplace environment that values and respects cultural diversity, job security, and working conditions. For immigrants from the Middle East, job security and working conditions in the US are typically very different from what they may have known back home. The US is mostly an at-will employer, in contrast to many Middle Eastern nations, where labor laws often provide greater work protection. This implies that employers can fire workers at any time and for any reason, thereby engaging in unlawful discrimination. This could be highly upsetting as it breeds instability. Furthermore, the work culture in the United States is characterized by rigorous work hours and restricted vacation time, which contrasts with the more laid-back standards in many Middle Eastern workplaces. For example, while extended public holidays and generous vacation policies are common in the Middle East, employees in the US may begin their annual leave tenure in as little as 2 weeks. It is difficult for newcomers to adjust to the increased pace and requirements of American work life, healthcare, and benefits, in addition to the loss of job security, because this demanding work environment requires a high level of commitment and flexibility from its employees. For immigrants from the Middle East, navigating the health and benefits system in the US can be extremely difficult due to its high costs and complexity, which stand in stark contrast to the easier-to-navigate healthcare systems back home. Citizens in several Middle Eastern nations enjoy free or heavily subsidized healthcare, which considerably lowers the financial burden of medical bills. On the other hand, the US healthcare system primarily uses a private insurance model, where coverage can be unaffordably expensive and is frequently dependent on work. In the Middle East, a standard doctor's appointment might come with no out-of-pocket costs, but in the US, the same visit could cost several $100s, not to mention more expensive emergency services or specialist care. Navigating insurance plans, copays, and deductibles adds more levels of complexity and possibly puts a strain on finances. For immigrants who must handle the high prices while still learning the nuances of a system that is harsh due to a lack of knowledge and family considerations, this drastic transition can be especially intimidating. Families and education are major factors in the decision-making process for Middle Eastern families moving to the U.S. Many people believe that the American educational system provides more opportunities than those in their home countries, both in terms of quality and future prospects. However, because university tuition can reach hundreds of thousands of dollars for a 4-year degree, the cost of higher education can be a major barrier. Families navigating new circumstances and long-term financial planning should take this financial burden seriously. To navigate the new financial realities in the U.S., immigrants from the Middle East must engage in long-term financial planning that differs significantly from their home financial practices. This planning goes beyond just keeping track of daily spending and setting aside money for emergencies. Understanding a complex financial landscape, which encompasses insurance, investments, and retirement planning, against the backdrop of potentially increasing living expenses and diverse tax obligations is crucial. Immigrants must adjust to the widespread use of credit and its impact on financial stability. They must learn how to deal with loans and credit ratings, which are essential components of U.S. financial systems but might not receive as much attention in their native countries. In order to achieve financial security in a new nation, it is imperative to engage in effective long-term financial planning that encompasses not just establishing immediate stability but also looking ahead to the future through prudent retirement savings, insurance, and investment decisions. Building a new community while removing social boundaries is crucial. For Middle Eastern immigrants living in the U.S., creating a new community frequently entails overcoming formidable social obstacles, a task that may be both intimidating and life-changing. This entails negotiating a challenging social environment with a variety of cultural norms and possible language obstacles. In addition to learning and adjusting to American social mores, creating a sense of community also entails figuring out how to relate to and interact with neighbors and coworkers who might not be familiar with Middle Eastern culture. Community centers, social organizations, and cultural exchange programs are examples of initiatives that can be extremely important in this transition process. These venues allow newcomers to meet people who have similar interests or experiences, which helps to reduce feelings of loneliness. Weighing the pros and cons. Relocating from the Middle East to the U.S. is a complex and significant decision that depends on weighing opportunities against potential setbacks. These hubs become crucial in fostering a sense of community and belonging, acting as bridges that not only connect different cultures but also support the newcomers in establishing their new identity in a multicultural setting. On the one hand, moving can lead to significantly greater wages, especially in fields like technology and healthcare, as well as more options for postgraduate study and exposure to a diverse range of cultures, all of which can promote both professional and personal development. These elements have the power to significantly raise someone's quality of life and offer enlarging experiences that are hard to come by in other places. However, such a transfer is not without its challenges. Major American cities can have unreasonably high living expenses, which frequently eat up a large amount of the increased income. The U.S. healthcare system is sophisticated, but it's also costly and confusing, which puts people without enough employer-sponsored health benefits at financial risk. Cultural shifts and the possibility of social isolation can have an impact on emotional and psychological health. The at-will employment doctrine's lack of job security can be disturbing in comparison to the more stringent labor laws seen in several Middle Eastern nations. To make an informed decision about moving, potential immigrants must carefully weigh these variables, taking into account both the short and long-term effects on their lives and families. I appreciate you looking. Remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel.